Hey there! Welcome to the 2020 Summer Sock Knitting Cal from B.Hooked. By the end of the month, you'll have a pair of custom-fit, handmade socks to keep your toes toasty warm this fall and winter. We'll break this knit-along down into 3 doable sections, each with a step-by-step tutorial to help you through the process. I'd say as long as you're comfortable knitting a hat, you can definitely knit these socks. Let's talk about yarn choice for just a second. Since many of you are knitting socks for the first time, we're using a medium weight yarn. It's best to use a 100% wool or a wool nylon blend, or even a cotton nylon blend, especially if you have wool allergies. Acrylics aren't really a great choice because they don't stretch or they don't breathe well. If you still have questions about which yarn you should choose for your socks, check out the frequently asked questions section on the Cal homepage for more details on yarn selection. So fit is the most important thing when knitting socks. So we need to take 2 measurements before we get started. We need the foot circumference, so you'll measure around the ball of your foot, and then your foot length. Once you have those 2 measurements, jot them down and refer to the pattern for the sizing chart. You'll need to see which size category, small, medium, or large, you'll be knitting so you know how many stitches to cast on in the next step. Rather than use double-pointed needles, which can be tedious to hold on to for first-time sock knitters, we're going to use the magic loop method for knitting these socks. It's much easier to get the hang of, plus it gives you the added bonus of being able to try your socks on as you knit them. For these socks, we're going to use Judy's Magic Cast On, so hold the needles so they're both pointing in the same direction, and leave a tail that's about 8 inches long. Now with the tail closest to you and the ball of yarn away from you, drape the yarn over the back needle, and then just gather up the yarn as you normally would to cast on. Swing the needle up towards your finger to catch the yarn on the front needle, then swing the needles down to your thumb to catch the yarn on the back needle, and repeat. Swing the yarn up to your finger for the front needle, swing the yarn down towards your thumb for the back needle. Remember, refer to the pattern for the total number of stitches to cast on based on the measurements you took earlier. Then make sure you have that number on each of your needles. When you have all your stitches cast on, your work will look something like this, and you'll simply rotate your needles so they're pointing in the opposite direction. Now the last stitch on the back needle isn't secure at this point, so you can try to knit it, it's not going to let you. So what I like to do is use the tail, wrap it around, and sort of lock it into place. Now I find it's easier too if you hold on to the tail with your 2 fingers down here at the bottom, just for the first stitch or 2 to help keep tension on it so it'll keep it in place. Now grab the front needle and slide it through so the stitches are resting on the cord. You'll pull it long enough so you can loop it around to knit with it. Insert that needle in the first stitch on the back needle and knit. Then just knit the remaining stitches on this needle. After you knit the last stitch and you free that needle, drop the working yarn, grab the cord, and pull it through. Then rotate it and push the stitches back on that free needle. Then you'll grab the front needle, pull it through all the way just like before, so the stitches are resting on the cord. These are the basics for knitting magic loop. You'll get really familiar with this. Don't worry if you're a little unsure about it right now. You'll get tons of practice. Now we're just doing the same thing here, knitting all the stitches. This first stitch is really important though. Make sure you pull all the slack from the working yarn so you don't have a little hole. Then just continue knitting all the stitches from this needle. Now I promise this is the most difficult and tedious part of the sock, the toe. It'll take a little patience and maybe redoing it once or twice, but once you get the hang of it, the rest of the socks, for the most part, is just knitting in the round, so don't give up. I know the first time I knit a toe, I frogged it 5 or 6 times, and then it just finally clicked. So this is what your toe looks like at the end of round 1. See why the cast on is called Judy's Magic Cast On? You can't even see it. I want you to see what the magic loop motions look like again because it's something that you'll want to practice and memorize. When you knit all the stitches off one needle, pull the cord so the free needle can slide through all the stitches. Then pull the other needle through to knit with. It's a really, really useful skill to know, especially if you hate knitting with double pointed needles. You'll never need them again if you get the hang of the magic loop. So we're moving on to round 2 of the toe. You'll knit the first stitch, again pulling tightly to remove the slack so you don't have a hole. And then next we need to increase with the KFB or the knit front back. So to make a KFB, insert the needle knitwise, wrap the yarn as usual, but instead of sliding it off the needle to finish the stitch, just swing it around and insert the needle in the back loop of that stitch. Then wrap the yarn and knit it off. Then we're going to knit to the last 2 stitches. This is needle 1, by the way, and you'll see it spelled out that way in the pattern. So on that second to last stitch, you'll KFB again. And then knit the last stitch. Pull the cord through and set yourself up to knit on needle 2. We're going to work the same exact pattern. Knit the first stitch, KFB, knit to the last 2 stitches, KFB, and knit the last stitch. This is our basic toe increase pattern. By the way, it can be a little difficult to slide the loops back on your needle. That's totally normal. I kind of just wiggle and twist the needle and it goes on just fine. Okay, moving on to round 3 of the toe. Go ahead and knit the first stitch and then place a stitch marker there. This will help you identify the beginning of the round, but you don't necessarily have to carry it up every single round. We're not trying to identify the first stitch. We kind of just need to know where the beginning of the round is, and this will help us to determine that. Now round 3 is an easy one. Knit all stitches on needle 1, then knit all stitches on needle 2. Now it'll look a little bunchy at each side right now, and that's normal too. After you increase a little bit more, you'll be able to turn it and it'll look more like a round. So the repeat for the toe is pretty simple. You're going to repeat rounds 2 and 3 until you have the stitch count for your size on each needle. So go ahead and refer to the pattern for that number based on your size. And to help you keep track of things, keep in mind that every time you complete a second round, your increasing round, your stitch count will increase by 4 stitches. You're increasing 2 stitches on each of the 2 needles. Now remember how I said after it grows a little bit more, you'll be able to turn it? So it looks more like a round now, and I want you to pay close attention to how I'm working with the needles and magic loop because it looks just a little bit different when the toe is large enough to take shape than it did at the very beginning when it was just a small piece. When you're finished with the toe and you have the total number of stitches on the needle for your size, it'll look something like this. Go ahead and remove your stitch marker for now. You won't need that. And honestly, the hard work is officially over. The toe is literally the hardest part in this entire pattern. It's pretty much smooth sailing from here. Before we move on to the foot instructions though, we really need to measure gauge. I did not forget this step. So if you're thinking this is a little backwards, why are we measuring gauge after we've already started? You're not wrong, but I find that measuring gauge on the toe after you've worked it up with your actual pattern, with your needles, your yarn, all of that stuff in place, it's a little more accurate than knitting a separate swatch and then taking the measurement. So pull both needles so the toe is resting on the cord. That'll help us get an even more accurate measurement so the stitches aren't stretched or distorted on the needles. Lay it down on a flat surface and align the ruler with a single stitch. Then just count how many stitches are in 1 inch. Now, if you count 7 stitches, you're good to go. If you count fewer, though, you'll need to drop down a needle size and rework the toe. Alternatively, if you count more stitches than 7, you'll need to go up to the next needle size and rework the toe. I know it seems like pointless extra work, but if your gauge doesn't measure 7 stitches per inch, these socks probably won't fit you right. When your gauge is spot on, slide the stitches back on the needles and set yourself up for the next round. Go ahead and add the stitch marker here so you'll know where the beginning of the round is. Again, I'm using it more as a visual cue and not really carrying it every single round. So we're starting on the foot section of the pattern here, and it's a piece of cake. Just knit every stitch on both needles every round until it measures a certain length. Now again, refer to your pattern for that measurement. It'll be based on the foot length measurement that you took earlier. Now you'll have a few days to finish knitting the foot, and we'll pick up on placing the afterthought heel in section 2 of the pattern. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already so you don't miss that tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.